What's happening, everybody? What's good? What's good? It's your boy Leo, and welcome to the bird section. Oh, all right, y'all. Week 1 Sunday games almost in the books right now. We're at halftime of the Baltimore Ravens, Buffalo Bills game. The Baltimore's up 17-14. It's looking like or is it 17-13? Oh, see, I'm all messed up, y'all. Forgive me. But let me make sure I got that right. Cause I gotta make sure that I get my facts straight before I oh no, I'm sorry, it's 20-13. My bad. I said 17 for 20-13. They're down by 7. That's what it is. But let me go over a couple of things. Let me talk about like what happened today. So today, Tampa Bay beat Atlanta 23-20. Cincinnati barely beat Cleveland 17-16. Indianapolis beat the shit out of Miami 33-8. Jacksonville beat up on Carolina 26-10. Um, Las Vegas beat New England 20-13. Arizona beat New Orleans 20-13. Uh, Pittsburgh, that was a good game. That turned out to be 34-32. And Washington beat the Giants 21-6. That means my man Jesse Montanez is going to have to go back in the weeds, as he says. And then Denver beat Tennessee 20-12. That actually was a more of a competitive game than I thought it was going to be. And then San Francisco beat Seattle 17-13, and Green Bay beat up on the Detroit Lions 27-13, and then the LA Rams beat the Houston Texans 14-9. So, what are some of my best takeaways? Oh, and I didn't tell you guys, but the Chargers actually beat Kansas City 27-21 on Friday. So, um, what did we learn? Well, Kansas City, losing to well, first of all, Philadelphia and Dallas turned out to be exactly what I thought it was going to be, which is a tune-up game. It wasn't the smashing that I assumed it was, but overall, our defense picked up right where they left off at in terms of points allowed. You know what I'm saying? There were a lot of self-inflicted wounds on our end. Philadelphia pretty much gift wrapped the game to the Dallas Cowboys, and the most they can muster up was 20 points. And so, despite what some Cowboy fans may or may not be saying, at the end of the day, 20 points. So they're more concerned with the moral victories and all that other stuff. And if you're a Cowboys fan, see me week 12, because right now I just can't I can't even begin to hear you right now. Seriously. Um, and then when you think about what happened with and hold on for a hot second, y'all, because I want to make sure that I have everything on here. Okay. All right, sorry about that. I'm a little late. Joe Damasi, what's good, bro? Poor Jesse will be 0-2. Yes, he will. Ruby Oldwin, as a Cowboys fan, I'm sorry. Rudy, listen, first and foremost, the fact that you are here, I want you to know that, yes, I am an Eagles content creator. Yes, the Eagles are my team. But this is, in fact, a safe space, even for Cowboy fans. So please make it a point to come on back. Uh, Joe Damasi, can't wait for week 12 revenge in Dallas. Joe, I bet you can't. I bet you can't. But here's a bit of advice from a current champion while I'm wearing, the crown, right? Stop worrying about week 12. Get your mind off of week 12. You need to be getting your mind right about week 2, okay? Your week 2 opponent just played against one of your other division rivals. and you need to be on scout. That's where we at. Oops. And it looks like Baltimore just scored again. Zay Flowers on Buffalo. So now the score is it'll be 27. It'll be 20. It's 26-13, but extra point hasn't been kicked yet, so it'll probably be 27-13. So right now, Baltimore is asserting their dominance on Buffalo in Buffalo. So it's going to be a tough divisional game, divisional rivals. Joe DeMasi, Giants might play Jackson Dart. You know what? If you want, I could talk about New York for a hot second. And what I saw in that game. Yeah. Well, I can't put it all on Russell. Giants offensive line looked like shite. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, they looked shitty. Russell was running around, couldn't when he hiked the ball, they were like right there in the backfield. No blocking, no chip shots, no nothing. So, as far as the Giants are concerned, to me, they look like they're in mid-season form. Okay, so there you have it. Jesse, I know Jesse Montanez was, all week. We in the weeds, Leo. We in the weeds. We in the weeds. And I kept telling you, keep your ass in them damn weeds. And and when I look at today's performance, it says, keep your ass in the weeds. So that's what I think. You need to keep your ass in the weeds. So, you know, um, you're the one who said week 12. I'm worried about the Giants right now. Okay. All right, bet. You know what I'm saying? Blue Virus, what's good, man? You know what I'm saying? If that's the case, then I stand corrected. I'll take that. But everybody, and while you're here, please do me a favor. If you're going to jump in and jump out, when you jump in, hit the like button, and then you can jump out if you want to, and come on back whenever you feel like it. But in the meantime, I'm really of the opinion that like, look, Kansas City, they look. Kansas City looks sus. And what I mean by that, meaning, you know, they may need a couple more games to get their feet up under them. And that could be something that we could take advantage of as long as we fix our own issues, particularly in the secondary now. The good news is that Howie signs a Darius Smith, the free agent defensive end with 9 sacks from Cleveland, and then um and I'm sure and then they cut Kenyon Green. So there might be someone else coming in. I'm thinking they may end up messing around and bringing in another corner or another veteran corner or something like that. We don't know, but what we do know is that Howie is always cooking. All right, so let Howie do his thing. That's in Howie we trust. Uh, Joe Damasi says Mahomes is going to have to carry them. I can see the Eagles beating them. Me too. They look. The Eagles are still the top dogs. All facts, Donald. Joe, you're right. I mean, that's why I said they look sus. I mean, Xavier Worthy is going to miss some time with that shoulder. Plus, the other wide receivers on that team, not looking good. The line couldn't get enough push for Isaiah Pacheco. Got a lot of things that they got to figure out, and you got to figure these things out a week before the team that just beat the shit out of you in the Super Bowl comes to town. Okay, so and then that team, you know, that's coming to town also has some things that we got to figure out for ourselves. But the good news is it's all coachable. Still no update on Landon Dickerson, and his injury. Um, so still waiting to find out about that. And if anybody knows anything, please put it in the chat. Hey bro, but you have to admit we did look pretty good against you guys. But congratulations on the W. Appreciate it, Blue Virus. But I don't know. I mean, yeah, you guys did, or did we just not play that well? I called it a tune-up game. This was Thursday was the first time we got to see our ones on both the offense and the defense. And my thought process is if that with all the self-inflicted wounds that the Eagles did, with all the questionable calls from the referees, even with an hour-long extras halftime, the most your team could come up with was 20 points. Right. Listen, when you playing a team like that, when you got when you got the defending Super Bowl champions in front of you, and they are making mistakes, you don't make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? That's the way it's supposed to work. You could have stole that game. You could have got not stole it, but you could have got that game. You know what I'm saying? With as many mistakes as we were making, we didn't even have our best defensive player on the field. You know what I'm saying? We didn't even have our starting left guard went out. You know what I'm saying? And so I just think that, and mind you, I'm only saying this because last year our defense ended the year holding opponents to 24.8 points a game. Okay. We held you to 20 points. So overall, I think the defense picked up right where they left off at in terms of not allowing opponents to score more than 20 something points, 24.8 points. Good. Jalen Hurts threw the ball 24 times. He completed it. He threw the ball 23 times and completed 19. He was 19 for 23 with 155 yards. He had a passer rating of 94.2. Dak had a passer rating of 76.6. He was 19 for 34. Okay. CeeDee Lamb had 107 points and no touchdowns. George Pickens, yeah, he only had like a couple of catches, but nothing impactful. I think he had maybe 30 yards, if that. So the offensive, and that was all against us making mistakes and not being where we needed to be and doing the things that we needed to do. So, your team had 24, not much better against this shitty defense. We had a we had a shitty 24. Okay. You know what I'm saying? A shitty 24. That's why I said we were making mistakes. Hey, look, AJ only got targeted one time. Devontae only got targeted 3 times. Dallas Goedert was our probably like one of our best receivers because he had multiple targets and catches. I think he had 7 catches. Jahan Dotson had a catch for 50 something yards. Saquon only had 60 yards rushing, you know what I'm saying, and a touchdown. But nonetheless, Jalen put the team on his back and ran us into a win. So again, like I don't know what happens what happens when your team goes against a team that isn't fucking up like we did. Okay. What it says to me is that the Philadelphia Eagles are a damn good team. Once they get their shit together, we'll be lethal. So, Donald says, Joe Damassi, you guys talked all that shit and took the L. The Cowgirls are a shit storm, and Parsons got Packers looking light years ahead of the Cowgirls. Stop, bro. You guys are a joke. We are not the same. Hey, Donald, do me a favor. Write that all again. Write all of that again. Put that in there, and then instead of saying just Joe Damassi, put Cowboys fans, and then say that. You see what I'm saying? Because listen, I told them I was on Mark's live the other day, and I was calling this a tune-up game, and they was pissed. I triggered the hell out of him. Mark cussed me out. He told me off. He made sure I knew how unhappy he was with me, and it wasn't gonna take none of my shit. It's my channel. That's how he was talking. Like, just just go back, y'all, and look at yesterday's members only call-in show. You'll see. You will see. I triggered them all. I got them going. You know what I'm saying? Sauced them up. Donald, obviously, Joe Damassi says, Donald, you obviously don't know me. I didn't talk shit at all, and you act like I traded Micah to the Packers. You know what I learned, Joe? And I'm not talking about you, but you know what I learned? I learned that despite the good face that the Cowboys fan base is trying to put on right now, watching Micah do his thing today in Green Bay hurt. Okay, that hurt them. All right, they did not like seeing that, and it makes them mad. And then, Micah told everybody earlier in the week that the 2 teams he wanted to go to was Green Bay and Philadelphia. Oh man. Mark has this analogy he uses. Mark will say something like, you know what this is like? This is like the girl you used to date, and you think she all that and everything, and then she goes with someone else, and then you think, or no, she goes with someone else and says, oh, he wasn't all that. He was this little or whatever, whatever. That's how they're rationalizing what went down with Micah. And I said that what was funny to me was the Cowboys fan base started kicking Micah's back in as soon on his way out the door. So this is sad. This is a sad state of affairs right now. I'm not gonna lie, it hurt me, but it's Jerry's fault. Exactly, Joe, and that's the reason why. Like that's the one issue that y'all can't get rid of until he passes away. Mm. Now, tomorrow I'm going to do a little film review. We could talk about the game, what I'm saying? Talk about what happened and then talk about what we're looking forward to, what we got to look forward to coming up. You know, and so and hopefully, Darius Smith gets there. He came from Detroit. He was in Cleveland, then he went to Detroit. You know what I'm saying? And Buffalo just scored. Okay, okay. So now it scores 27 to 21 pretty soon. So we'll see. I said this is probably going to shaping up to be the most competitive game. Well, let's see. You know what I'm saying? Because they really, okay. I see how it's going down. Got it. You know. But anywho, um, yeah, Donald, nothing personal, just football. There you go. I like that, Donald and Joe. I like that. I like that. You know what I'm saying? Keep that going. And listen, folks, while you are here, do your boy a favor. Hit the like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Hook your mans up. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what it is. You know what I'm saying? I got to get these likes and these subs up because I told everybody that I was trying to make 10,000 before the end of the season. You know what I'm saying? And so, my plan is to continue to just keep pissing people off and making them mad, especially those 49er fans. I can't wait to dig in their ass. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see, but anywho, I feel like, when I look, Jersey boy, what up, bro? Love the content. Only thing that can stop the Eagles is injuries. We are a problem. Pick your poison every week. Go Birds. Exactly. Exactly. Hey, listen, everything that went wrong, aside from Landon Dickerson's back getting hurt, because it was just his back, not his knee. It was his back. AJ Dillon was trying to get through the line and he ran right into Landon Dickerson's back, and it looked like it hurt like hell. So I could only imagine, but the good news is that we're in day 3 of a 10-day mini bye, and I'm sure since Thursday, Landon Dickerson's been getting treatment, and will continue to get treatment. The guys will be practicing tomorrow. They'll be getting their rest up and then getting prepared for what's going to happen in Kansas City. And like I said, Kansas City looks vulnerable right now. And I'll be damned, Buffalo just scored a 2-point conversion, so now it's 27-21. Ooh. There's 7 minutes and 47 seconds left in the third quarter. So to me, there's a flag on the play. Wait a minute. Oh, wow. They had to pull the referee out. So he might have stepped out of bounds. He did. He stepped out of bounds. Yeah, he stepped. It's going to be 27-20. He stepped out of bounds. You can't do that. Or did he? Yeah, he did. Yeah, yeah. It's 27-20 or 27-21. What is it? Did I get that wrong? Yeah, 27-19. My bad. Okay, still a one possession game, you know. Leo, I tell everyone to subscribe, especially if you are Bird Game Fly. Yo, Donald, thank you so much for that. Uh like the video, subscribe to Burson, no matter what fan you are. My man Joe. Joe and Donald, man, you know what? I'm not there yet, but when I get there, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna make sure, I send y'all something, I'm just trying to get this up first, because and I'll make sure that y'all get what y'all deserve. Because that's thank you so much for that. You know what I'm saying? And everybody else, again, do your man a favor and hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? But going back to what we were saying earlier about getting ready for Kansas City, they've got some serious injuries, early on, especially in the wide receiver group. That offensive line still looks like they can't really give Patrick the kind of time he needs, because he was the one that was trying to win it for him. you know um Travis Kelsey is Travis Kelsey. But again, you can't look like that and be getting ready to play us next week. Even with all our mistakes and stuff like that. Now, here's the other part to that. Here's the other side to that coin. We cannot go into this game next week making the same mistakes that we made on Thursday. I get it. Thursday was our first game, first time seeing our ones on both sides of the ball and all that, but that's an excuse that only can be used one time. Okay. And we used it on the first game. You know what I'm saying? Second game, I expect to see things cleaned up. But at the same time, I really don't expect to really know what this team is until at least week 5. You know what I'm saying? Week 4, week 5, that's when you find out what kind of team you really got. Right now, I like the direction in which we're trending. Bro, yo, stop the press. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let me tell y'all something. Jahad Campbell, Zach Bond, I told everybody before the start of the season, our linebacker room got way better. And that's without Nakobe Dean. That's without Jeremiah Trotter Jr. That's without I'm telling y'all, pay attention to our linebackers, okay? Our linebacker group is dangerous, okay? You know, and if Zadarius Smith can give us at least something close to what his production from last year, which is 9 sacks, you know what I'm saying? Then it is the word on the street is, with Zadarius Smith joined the Eagles, the word is the rich got richer. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'll be honest. My first reaction to it was, I was like, is this like another Robert Quinn thing? But from my understanding and listening to other Detroit content creators, they're like, no, 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 no. They were telling they're saying things like, you know, um, Zadarius Smith is one of those veterans who waits till the end of preseason to sign with somebody because he doesn't like training camp. He's got 10 years in the league, so he can be that way. But he is definitely a contributor, and they're disappointed that Brian Holmes waited so long to sign him, and how he just came and took him. So now, my man has an opportunity to get a ring. He's had a great career. Now he wants a ring to top it all off, and I think he thinks that Philadelphia gives him the best chance. Now, after what I saw with Detroit today, okay, with Detroit and Green Bay, you know, Detroit looked like I thought they would look. They look like a team that has a brand new offensive coordinator and a brand new defensive coordinator. And so it's going to take them a lot longer to get it together than normal, because this is a whole new system that they're learning. So I'm okay with that. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But Green Bay, they look like they were playing inspired football. And so with Micah got a sack towards the end of the game. He really, he was the defense as a whole was disruptive. A good defense like that against a unknown commodity as far as the Detroit offense. That's what Micah's going to be a problem. And that's the thing. I wasn't just scouting, Detroit. I wasn't just scouting Kansas City. But I was kind of curious to know what Detroit and Green Bay is going to look like, because Green Bay is somebody we got to play. And I said earlier that Leo Zach Bond is the best linebacker in the NFL. Yep, he is. He was one of the top 100. You know what I'm saying? Scott B, what up, man? Adoree Jackson got to get off the field. Yep, yep. Leo, this is the best linebacker we had in years. Yes, he is. Yep, yep. You know, and that's the thing. Got to give these guys a chance to cook. Thursday was just crazy. We all know what happened at the beginning of the game or before the game even got started. No need to rehash that. But the changes, the things that we had to plan for, we didn't have to plan for. The weather, that part, was crazy too. The long wait. So, and I don't think that extra long half like I think I think the weather break saved the Cowboys from an embarrassment. Okay, because the play that happened before they suspended the game is when Miles Sanders fumbled the ball and Quinyon Mitchell picked it up and was headed for a pick six had Dak not tackled him, had not, and so well Dak didn't tackle him, Dak just messed up his feet, grabbed his feet and he fell. But had what I'm saying? If we didn't have, because I think the weather delay, that was when the momentum was starting to shift in our direction. And I think I think that's when the onslaught was about to take place. But then they had to go sit down for like an hour and some change. And I don't think either of those teams could really get it together after having to wait for so long. They played 2.5 quarters of football, you know what I'm saying? And then, you make them sit for an hour. That's just not good. And so I'm not really all that mad about that. Um However, though, I will say that, I feel like watching the other teams who didn't have to deal with that, you know what I'm saying? Except for Jacksonville and Charlotte, um uh, uh or Carolina. I keep calling them Charlotte. I mean Carolina. They had the long weather delay too. So, but that was earlier in the game. Our game wasn't over till almost midnight. So again, different circumstances, but very similar. And so having to have the guys sit down and all that stuff is just it's hard to come back from. It's hard to get back to where you were. So kudos to them for, slugging it out, hanging in there, facing that adversity and overcoming it. See, that's the thing. That's what championship teams do. Championship teams figure out a way to get the win. And I get it. AJ was a non-factor, so was Devontae. Dallas Goddard had a hell of a game. And so, when guys go down and things aren't working, other guys step up, and that's what happened. And look at what you look, man, Jalen Hurts looked like he looked poised. You know what I'm saying? If there was ever someone who was making an opening salvo or opening bid for a MVP run, he definitely looked the part. I'm looking at Lamar Jackson. He's 10 for 13 with 129 yards. Josh Allen is sitting on. Hold on. Josh Allen is sitting 14 for 20 or 20 for 14. 14 for 20 with 118 yards and a touchdown. So again, you know, the usual suspects in terms of Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are definitely making a case for their respective bids to go for an MVP again, but so did Jalen. So the only thing is that I'm convinced Jalen won't get a MVP only because if he does, a lot of the writers and folks who vote for that, a lot of them they don't they were the ones who said that, Jalen wasn't a franchise quarterback. He wasn't going to take him anywhere. They thought he should play a different position, maybe wide receiver or so. And if he was to get MVP, it would prove them all wrong. So that's not a good thing. You know what I'm saying? You gotta deal with a whole lot of egos and stuff like that. So it is what it is. Um, and I'm okay with that because, like my man said, let's keep the main thing. And if the main thing is, winning, then let's just stick to that and keep it at that, respectfully. So that being said, Yeah, I'm gonna do I'll come back on here probably tomorrow and definitely on Tuesday for sure. But tomorrow I'll probably sit down and do a bit of a film review breakdown and give you some more thoughts in a little more detail. But I'm Donald. Leo Campbell is the reason Mitchell got the recovery. He punched the ball away from Sanders. Flag will fly. That's what I'm saying, Donald. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Our linebacker group is going to be elite this year. We're going to be very lethal, and you're going to have to plan for that. Jalen Carter gets back on the field and gets his mind right. Not to mention you've got Jordan Davis, who's in a contract year. Looking to get paid. So we've got a lot of motivations. Jahan Dotson's in a contract year. So people want to get a bag. And that's what like those are the types of things elements we got going on for this team. On top of, and I love Nick Sirianni saying this year, uh, contribution over credit. You know what I'm saying? Nobody. These cats they're getting chippy out there in Buffalo. But contribution over credit, I love it. Who cares who did what? As long as we got the W, that's all that matters. So if it took just one target for to AJ and 3 targets for Devontae for us to get the win, so be it. So be it. Because that's all we care about. Did we win? When I talk to Cowboy fans, they talk about, oh, you were scared, you were this, we almost came close, da 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 da. Yeah, but did we win? You know what I'm saying? Did we win? That's all I care about. I don't care how it looked. Did we win? Keep what did Jalen say? Keep the main thing the main thing, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So look, I'm only came on here for a short period of time because I know Mark is streaming right now, and I'm sure a few other people want to start streaming. Um, and I want to I got to start getting ready because it's 10:30 here where I'm at, and I got to get ready to start shutting things down and getting the house prepared, buttoned up for the night. All right. With that, I will see you guys definitely tomorrow. Come on back. All are welcome here at the bird section. Oh, peace, everybody.